Chapter 26. Finally, they stopped. When Flora looked behind her, she couldn't see the camp any longer, and their tracks were being covered by sleet. Oscar scratched around until he found a soft place in the snow. "I'll start digging here." "Is this the special place?" asked Flora. Sophia looked uncomfortable. The falling sleet made her blink. She started to say something, but then began licking her front instead. "It's okay," said Flora. She wanted to make this easier on her friend. "My strength has been tested before. I've been working up to this moment. I think I'm ready." Sophia looked relieved. "Good. You're going to have to stay away from the camp in this one pig home for a few days." Alone? A tiny stab of fear prickled Flora's heart. Staying in a hole reminded her of being down in the hold. This might be harder than she thought. Oscar dug away at the hole with short, expert strokes. "Should Oscar be digging that hard?" Flora asked. "He'll be fine. He's hurrying because he's looking forward to leaving with his team," Sophia said. "But don't worry. I'll remember the way back here." Flora shivered inside her coat. The cold felt as if it were squeezing her brain. This didn't make sense. An ice breeze sprang up and whisked her breath away in long white streams. She shook her head, trying to shake out the confusion. Oscar's head was out of sight now. Plumes of powder shot from the hole. Flora shook her head again, this time with worry for Oscar. "He's sick," she said, hoping that didn't hurt the dog's feelings. "I can help." "I'm not sick," breathing heavily, Oscar barked his head out of the hole, his sides heaving from the effort. "I'll be fine. Digging is good for dogs. It's like medicine." "Oscar needs to dig fast," Sophia said, "if he wants to get back to camp before they leave." Flora stamped the snow. The crust broke under her feet and she sank up to her ankles. "I don't understand." Sophia went on as if Flora hadn't spoken. Remember, the new project is all about staying alive. Oscar's job is to lead the rescue crew. Our job is to keep out of sight for a while." "What kind of job was that? If this special place wasn't for training, then what? Do I stink? Is that the problem?" Flora sniffed herself. Her hair smelled a little bit like dog from spending night in the snow shelter, but that was hardly her fault. Oscar huffed and started digging again. Flora went on. "Everybody says pigs stink, but I have clean habits even if I don't lick myself all the time." "You don't stink," said Sophia. "Do you think I would curl up next to you every night if you were a stinky pig? I'll come back after the dogs have gone." "What? What are you talking about?" Oscar stopped ignoring her. Flora's voice trembled now, but she didn't care. If he could hear her with his head inside the hole, he didn't show it. "Stop digging," she shouted into the wind. She moved to stop Oscar. Sophia stepped in front of Flora. "Oscar is saving your life," she said. "Don't you understand? You're in terrible danger." Flora sat down with a thump in the snow. "I'm in danger?" Oscar backed up and out of the hole to catch his breath. Flora continued. "I don't need a special place for a sled pig. Having an adventure is like medicine." Sophia gave her a pity look. "They didn't bring you along to be a sled dog." "They didn't." Flora looked at Oscar. "Nope." He shook his head. "If you're saying that because you're sick and you're afraid, I'll take your lead dog's spot." Flora faltered and then went on. "You should know you don't have to worry. I won't." Oscar turned back to the hole. "I'll clean out the last little bit. It's almost ready." Flora jumped in. "Why won't someone just say what's going on?" "Calm down," said Sophia. "He's digging you a hiding place, a new home for a little while, until the danger is past." "But I want us to face the danger together, like a team." Sophia glared at Flora. "I don't need a team. Remember? And I'm cold and wet. This business of trying to keep others safe is starting to put my whiskers in a knot." Flora placed in an angry circle, churning up the ice and snow under her feet. She paid no attention to the sharp edges kicking nicking her legs. It was just like Sophia to forget how she needed help with the rats. I haven't had any trouble. Flora stopped pacing. Wait a minute. Are you two trying to get rid of me? Oscar cleared his throat, as if he wanted to say something, but panted instead. Yes, she understood now. You're afraid of me, both of you. You know I'm strong, and you think I'll take all the credit. Well, I can see through your plan. I have another plan. Goodbye. Flora marched off with her head high in the air. Oscar's voice floated through the wind to her. Where are you going? Back to camp, Flora answered without turning around. Then she realized she had no idea which direction camp was. She stopped and cast her head back and forth, trying to remember. Nothing was familiar, and everything was familiar at the same time. All the land looked the same, just plain white. She turned and walked back to the dog and cat, who were still watching her. I decided to give you a chance to follow me. Sophia's tail swished impatiently in the snow. A sled dog would never lose his way back home. Flora looked at Oscar, who blinked and shifted his feet. A sled dog was an unfailing sense of direction, said Sophia. He has broad shoulders for pulling. He was big, padded feet which don't break through the crust. Flora followed at the ground where her hooves had chopped up the snow and ice. She felt miserable, lost, and terribly alone, even though she was not yet alone. Let's pretend you're right for a minute. Why would they have brought me back if I wasn't to be a sled pig? Sophia shook snow off her shoulders. I didn't want to tell you because I thought you would figure it out yourself. Figure it out? The wind seemed to stop for a minute, and silence filled Flora's ears. Food, said Sophia.
Flora's head felt light. She felt sick and wanted to lie down. She sat with a thud. Oscar sighed. Pulling is for dogs. Do you think Amos likes you because of your personality? Think about it, said Sophia. They want you on their adventure, all right, but not for the reason you think. No, Flora whispered, but the signs were all there. She had a purpose on this expedition, and it had nothing to do with how smart she was or how brave or strong. She was food. Oscar turned and sniffed at the hole he had finished. He gave the piled snow at the entrance a swipe. I think it's big enough now. Flora stood up and backed into it. Her ears were ringing. She barely noticed when her friends said goodbye. Sophia stopped once and looked back, but it had begun to snow, and they were soon out of sight. Flora slid in deeper and curled up. She found that her back legs could tuck inside the bottom of her coat. Her hole was warm as could be. She shivered away. The snowflakes slowly filled the opening as if filling in a grave. That was chapter 27 of The Adventures of the South Pole Pig.